Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Today's April 14th, 2016. Yesterday, April 13th, the NBA regular season came to a close, and there were two major storylines that were the final games played of the regular season. One was Kobe Bryant's final game after his 20-year career. At the same time that was playing out, the Golden State Warriors were going for their record 73rd win, trying to beat the Chicago Bulls' 95-96 record of 72 wins. The NBA has an 82-game season. The Bulls were 72-10 at the end of the 96 season. This year, the Warriors eclipsed that record, winning their 73rd game last night while Kobe Bryant was playing his final game as a Laker. If you're new to my channel, what I am doing is I am exposing how sports are scripted, how they are planned long in advance and executed as a play or a movie would be. What a lot of people aren't aware of is that Kobe Bryant, this star, he was born to a former NBA player, Joe Jellybean Bryant. And Joe Jellybean Bryant was drafted by the Golden State Warriors in 1975. 41 years ago this year. He was traded to the Philadelphia 76ers, where he played the majority of his career, where he had Kobe as a son. Kobe grew up in Philly. A lot of people don't realize that the Warriors are originally from Philadelphia. It was the Philadelphia Warriors who won the first NBA championship. They would later move out of Philadelphia, eventually ending up where they now are in Golden State. After the Warriors left Philadelphia, Philadelphia got the 76ers team years later that came over from Syracuse, New York. They were originally called the Nationals. So anyway, the Golden State Warriors and Kobe Bryant have Philadelphia connections. And Joe Jellybean Bryant, the father of Kobe, has connections, of course, to the Warriors who he was drafted by, and Kobe Bryant himself. Earlier this year, I did a video when the Warriors' record win streak was going on. I talked about how they got their 16th win to start the season, beginning 16-0 against the Lakers, who've won 16 NBA Finals. I was talking about how the Philadelphia 76ers at the same time were on a record losing streak. I made a video predicting that their first win would come against Kobe Bryant and the Lakers. I was right about that prediction. So all year there's been these parallels between the Philadelphia 76ers, the Golden State Warriors, and the LA Lakers' Kobe Bryant. All these teams having this triangular relationship, reminding you of the triangle offense that the Lakers used to run. Phil Jackson, he also ran it in Chicago, right? So anyway, we're going to be talking about this in much greater detail. I'm going to show how the second half of the Lakers game was scripted. I'm going to talk about the parallels between Kobe and Jordan. If you're new here, let's start with a little warm-up. Just realize I'm going to talk about a lot of topics. I'm going to connect a lot of NBA history. I'm going to show you how this league is scripted. I'm also going to link some of my earliest videos from 2014, talking about how the NBA is largely centered around the number 33. We're going to be talking a lot about 33 today, too. Oh, shoot, I better get that camera back up here. People say they like it. That's the only reason I do this. So many people request that my face is on the screen, so hey, if it helps somebody out, here we go. But anyway, if you're new here, I teach gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. It might sound crazy, but I have proved this beyond a shadow of a doubt. However it is that the families, the secret societies that rule over the NBA and so much of pro sports, however it is that they plan the futures of their children in these sports leagues, they use this practice of gematria to code their names with certain numbers that are of great significance. So check this out. Kobe Bryant equals 113. 113, which is a very special number to the Freemasons. Talk about Scottish Rite Freemasonry in a moment. Kobe Bryant, his game is very much modeled after Michael Jordan, the superstar in the league before him. A lot of people saw Kobe Bryant as Michael Jordan's replacement. Kobe Bryant drafted in 96. The same year, the Bulls set that record win total of 72. So Michael Jordan 113. At the beginning of the year, and I have a video on this, Kobe Bryant wrote a poem supposedly called Dear Basketball that was about his upcoming retirement. And I had to laugh because Dear Basketball, 113. And then, of course, last night he finishes his career against the Utah Jazz, the only team in the league where the name sums to 113. Think about Michael Jordan, how he won Game 6 of the NBA Finals against Utah for their 6th championship. One of Jordan's most famous highlights, shooting that buzzer beater. Or it wasn't a buzzer beater, but with the clock running down. So Kobe Bryant, his last game, 113. 113 is important to Scottish Rite Freemasonry, which is the branch of Freemasonry that has created so many things in this world, including basketball, football, and more. Scottish, 113. Other important words with 113 gematria include mainstream. Think about Jordan, Kobe, the mainstream. The thing about the mainstream is most people don't realize that it's completely dishonest, such as rigged sports and duping fans who think these games are authentic and there's real competition instead of a rigged planned outcome. Dishonest 113. Kobe Bryant, been a major beneficiary of this rigged system. Someone who has no shame, just like so many of these athletes who sell out their fans by the millions. So that's gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. We're also going to talk about numerology and birth dates. Let's begin by breaking down Joe Bryant. We're going to end up going through it all. The Warriors win, the Lakers win last night. I just want you to see all this. Joe Bryant, the father of Kobe Bryant, was drafted 1975 by the Golden State Warriors. First pick, pick 14. Interesting that we're in the time of the 114th Congress and the Warriors won the NBA Finals, and they have a chance to do it again this year. Anyhow, 1975 is 41 years ago. 41, also the reflection of 14. He was the 14th pick. If you write out 14 as a word, it has gematria of 41, just like if you write out Kobe Bryant, it sums to 41. Just like if you write out Golden State, it sums to 41. Again, we're talking about the relationship between Kobe, his father, and the Warriors here. Just for another quick example, earlier this year, the Warriors, they had their 54-game home win streak snapped, a record. They lost to the Celtics. Celtics had the prior home record of 40 wins, 1 loss on a season. Spurs tied that this year. Anyhow, notice that Oracle equals 54. That game was on ESPN the night that the 54-game streak was snapped. ESPN also equals 54. And I bring this up also because Joe Bryant was born in the year 54. Think about what Oracle has to do with, prophecy, predicting the future. 54-game win streak snapped at the Oracle on ESPN. Last night, ESPN carrying both the Lakers and Warrior games on ESPN 1 and ESPN 2. So, Joe Bryant, he went by the nickname Joe Jellybean Bryant. We're going to look at the few variations of his name and see what stands out. Notice his full birth name, Joseph Washington Bryant, sums to 103. And with the S exceptions, 121. 103 is interesting because yesterday was April 13th, which is typically the 103rd day of the year. These major games, these big storylines on the 130 days, seemingly connected to Joseph Washington Bryant. Also, the gematria of 121 is interesting because Warriors equals 121. And with regards to LA, think about this. L is the 12th letter, A is the first. LA is a lot like 121 as well, just like how Warriors equals 121. If you're new to my channel, I've shown how many times the Warriors have won with 121 points this season. No coincidence. Joe Bryant has gematria of 38, so does the word gold. I think about how we're in a golden jubilee year. California's the golden state. Some things could be a coincidence. The name Joseph, his birth name has gematria of 73. Curry and the Warriors just got their 73rd win. Also, Steph Curry is the son of an NBA player, Dell Curry, And during the Bulls' record win season from 96, their 73rd game of the season came against Dale Curry, the father of Steph Curry. 73rd game of the season, the record ends up getting broken by his son at 73. We'll talk more about 73 and the Lakers in a little bit. The name Joe Bryant also sums to 153, the number from the miraculous catch in the Bible of 153 fish. 153 is often paired with the numbers 42 and 113. And we talked about 113 and Kobe Bryant in the NBA. 42 is also a number often stamped on black men. The name LeBron James equals 42. Even NBA Finals has gematria 42. Masonic numbers. His birthday, October 19th, 54, also a date with 83 numerology. That's the 23rd prime number. With regards to 83, it was the year that he finished his career. He retired from the NBA at the end of 83. His final year, he played with the Houston Rockets. It's interesting that Houston this year hosted the college championship where Villanova won, the team just outside of Philadelphia. And just for a second, let's talk about that Villanova championship, because we're talking about sports scripting. That game was won with a shot by Chris Jenkins known as Big Smooth. He was one of two brothers in the game. There was a brother on Villanova and a brother on North Carolina. The brother for Villanova hit the game winner for the city of Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. And if you missed my work on the college tournament, I showed how the point guard who brought the ball up the court, Big Smooth, and Villanova all had the same gematria that even connects to Golden State Warriors. And before the college tournament began, I explained how the Philadelphia train wreck of last year connected to the NBA Finals and the Warriors winning. And I said this train wreck in Kansas, if you recall, there was an Amtrak wreck in Kansas the day before the college tournament began. I said this is the same riddle. It's telling us who's going to win this college championship. It's even synced up with last year's May 12th Philadelphia wreck. And then lo and behold, the team from nearby Philadelphia wins. The day before the college championship this year, there was another Philadelphia train wreck. They said a backhoe caused it. Backhoe has gematria 45, just like the number of years it had been since Villanova lost to UCLA in the championship. The name Big Smooth also has gematria 45, who hits the game winner, plus a few more things I talked about in the video. But again, this is all sports scripting. NCAA and pro are connected in all sports. The tributes run in both leagues, and they're often riddled together within years of each other. Done several videos on this. This year's college football championship and the NFL all synced up. So anyhow, we were talking about the father, Joe Jellybean Bryant, Philadelphia, his birth numerology, born in 54, on a date with 83 numerology, and 83 is the year that he retired with the Houston Rockets. Remember, that's how we got on Villanova in the first place. They just won the championship down there. The year he retired is also the year that the Philadelphia 76ers last won an NBA championship. As a franchise, they've won it 3 times. Once they won it while in Syracuse. Think about how both Syracuse teams represented the Final Four this year. Interesting. That train that crashed in Philadelphia was supposed to be coming from New York. Anyhow, Syracuse, their basketball team, went to Philadelphia. The last time the Philadelphia team won the championship was 33 years ago. Talk more about 33 in a second. The time before that was 67, which was a funny championship because this is the first year that the Philadelphia 76ers were in the NBA championship. The year prior, they were still the Syracuse Nationals. But this year in 67, the reflection of 76, they faced the Warriors, the team originally from Philadelphia. The NBA has always scripted this way in everyone's face, making a mockery of us all. But anyway, 83, last year that they won the championship, 33 years ago from this NBA Finals. Think about 33 in this regard. The NBA is largely centered around the number 33. NBA Finals has gematria of 33. From 83 to 2016, 33 years. Yesterday's games, the Warriors and Lakers storyline, a date with 33 numerology. One of my earliest videos, one of the first videos I ever made was about how the NBA is scripted around 33. Kobe equals 33, like so many stars in the NBA have 33 names. Golden State, as it's commonly written the abbreviated way, also has this gematria of 33, the winner of last year's NBA Finals. And again, think about how the the Warriors began the year chasing the Lakers' record win streak of 33 games, while Philadelphia began the season with the record losing streak that ended against the Lakers. It's all about these numbers and how everything's scripted and planned out. On the topic of 33 and superstars in the NBA, this headline came out earlier this year. The NBA told a story of how Kobe Bryant was nearly drafted by the Boston Celtics. Instead, he was taken 13th overall by the Charlotte Hornets, which we'll talk about. But with regards to the Boston Celtics, they lead the NBA with 17 NBA championships. The Lakers are in second place with 16, meaning the two teams have combined for 33 NBA championships. Remember, NBA Finals equals 33. Important number to the league. Before there was Kobe Bryant, before there was Michael, there was Bird and Magic. Bird wore the number 33. The name Bird in gematria equals 33. So does the name Magic. So does the name Irvin, how he spells it. So many superstars in the history of the NBA have 33 names. Michael, Kobe, Stephen or Steven, the way he spells it, Vincent, and many more. All names with 33 gematria. So we'll talk more about why Kobe was drafted by the Charlotte Hornets. I just wanted to bring that point up with Boston, the Lakers, the history of the NBA, and these numbers. As for Kobe's final game being against the Utah Jazz, again, Kobe Bryant equals 113. Michael Jordan equals 113. Utah Jazz equals 113. Dear Basketball, his poem that he supposedly wrote equals 113, his retirement poem. And here's his retirement game against the Utah Jazz. When I think of Jordan and Kobe and the Jazz, I think of Game 6 of the 98 NBA Finals. Jordan's buzzer, or it wasn't a buzzer beater, but late shot to put the Bulls up to give them the win for what became Jordan's second three-peat. Think about how Jordan won 3 championships, had a break, and then won 3 more. 3 and 3, a lot like 33. Michael 33. Kobe 33. Notice also, this was Game 6 for Jordan's 6th championship, and this famous highlight, when you look at it, 6.6 seconds on the clock. There's a reason this is the shot that so many people know. With regards to Utah, it's the only state with gematria 50, which is interesting because America equals 50. Kobe Bryant with the K exception equals 50. When you write out 50, it sums to 66. Lakers equals 66. Here we have Jordan winning in Game 6 for his 6th championship. Think of the parallels. It's been 18 years since this highlight. 18 factors into 6 plus 6 plus 6. I want to show you something about the NBA Finals in 666 real quick. There's a lot of parallels being made between Jordan and Stephen Curry right now, especially with the Warriors beating the Bulls record from 96. And then last night, we had Kobe ending his career and Steph Curry, who's midway into his career, having this milestone accomplishment. Anyway, the NBA Finals in English gematria sums to 666, kind of like the tribute 18 years later. Now, real quick, I just want to observe Kobe Bryant in high school played in Philadelphia at Lower Merion and wore the number 33. What's interesting about this is Lower Merion has gematria of 66, just like when you write out the word 33, just like when you write out Lakers. Lakers also sums to 66. And I'm talking about how so many of these athletes appear to be Manchurian athletes born and bred to be. A video like this really helps a lot of people see what I'm seeing, just how well scripted and planned out this has to be. It makes you wonder truly how deep this rabbit hole really is. Again, Kobe drafted in 96 by the Charlotte Hornets, coming out of North Carolina, just like how Jordan played his college ball in North Carolina before entering the NBA. He was traded for Vlade Divac. Vlade Divac in gematria equals 83, the 23rd prime, reminding a bit of Jordan as well. 13th pick overall, 41, the 13th prime. And with regards to Kobe and last night's game, I want to show you some images from the second half. I want to show you what ESPN was doing throughout the second half. I want to talk about the major 41 tribute he got at the end. Notice, though, that the Lakers won with 101 points over the Jazz, who had 96. Kobe came into the league in 96. Talk about the significance of these numbers. For the 6th time in his career, he scored 60 points. Show you something about 60 real quick, Truth Seeker. I've been talking an awful lot lately about the possibility of magnet technology being used in the NBA and college basketball to rig the outcomes of games to make sure certain shots go in and other shots don't. It is speculation, but I think the evidence for this case is building, and I think this might very well be part of the tribute of Kobe scoring 60 last night. We'll talk more about it. Also, with regards to this being, Kobe Bryant's final game, him scoring 60 points, yesterday there were headlines all day about how it was Mamba Day for Black Mamba. All sorts of headlines, all sorts of outlets emphasizing this Mamba Day. Mamba Day has gematria of 60. Kobe scores 60 points for the 6th time in his career. So, with regard to him scoring 60 for the 6th time, when you add 6 and 60, it sums to 66. Lakers equals 66. They got their biggest win of the season on the 66th day of the year over the Warriors, these two teams that finished the year together. Remember that Kobe Bryant equals 41 as we go through this. I'm going to link this post in the description. You can go through this post. There's over 50 images here. I don't want to look at every image for the sake of redundancy, but all second half, ESPN kept up this banner at the bottom showing Kobe's points and his field goals, reminding everybody at home that this was the Kobe show. Nothing else mattered on the court. On one end, they had number 8. On the other end, number 24. He began his career the first 10 years wearing number 8. He played the second half of his career wearing 24. Add those numbers together, they sum to 32, the reflection of 23, like Jordan. But anyhow, lots of images I captured that you can come check out here. Welcome to read the notes that I wrote on them. I thought this this little thing ESPN did for a second. Kobe at this moment of the game was really ice cold. He missed a bunch of shots in a row, and then they brought up this stat about Jordan Clarkson. And I said, is that supposed to be a subliminal Kobe, Jordan, Michael, Bryant, Maybe. 32.3, you know what I mean? 32, 23. I just wanted to document that real quick, something I observed. I also love this, that number 13 was the head ref on the game. Remember, Kobe Bryant equals 41, the 13th prime, 13th pick overall. Right after they showed this, they brought up this shot of Joey Crawford, longtime NBA referee. Something I've thought for as long as since I've been a child, is that pro sports are rigged and refs have the biggest outcome on the game more so than the players. And I think a lot of fans should wear the refs' jerseys because, after all, these guys have more influence and more championship belts than anyone. Joey Crawford, a guy that's won a lot of championships, playoff games, regular season games for a lot of teams, more so than any player. The NBA, always very biased officiating. I grew up in Portland, Oregon, home of the Portland Trail Blazers. I still remember being a kid, the Blazers-Bulls finals, seeing Jordan get away with everything, every whistle blow for him. It's always been the same way in these leagues. It's always obvious who it's rigged for. A lot of people who aren't Laker fans know how Kobe, Shaq, and the Lakers got away with murder many years. Kobe got a big bucket, the 59th point of the game. That stood out to me. Black Mamba equals 59. Michael Jordan equals 59. Number stamped on Black Americans. It was his 13th field goal of the game. Again, 41, the 13th prime. They said it was his 431st game with 30-plus points. That's interesting because Kobe's farewell in gematria equals 134, the reflection of 431. Interesting that they pull that stat out. So right here, this was one of the bigger scripted buckets of the game. Kobe Bryant hit a three-pointer. It was his 14th make on his 33rd attempt, bringing the Lakers score to 66. Again, Lakers equals 66. Also at this moment, Utah had 73. Big number on the night. Warriors getting their 73 win. Game going on at the same time. Parallels between the two teams through Joe Bryant where we began. But look at this. Kobe's 33rd attempt was his 37th points. They gave the Lakers 66. Again, when you write out 33, it sums to 66. 33rd attempt. Also, Los Angeles in gematria equals 37. The reflection is 73. Lakers equals 21. And the number 73 is the 23rd prime number. The number 37 is the 12th prime. 37, 12, 73, 21. Talk more about this 58 in a moment. Kobe's 58th point was the real big one. So Kobe would miss his next 4 shots. He was 14 of 33. Then he's 14 of 37 for 37 points. A lot of attempts, not many points. This also stood out when they threw this up. He set his new season high once he got to 40. They also announced at this time that by scoring 40 against Utah, he became only the second player in NBA history to score 40 points against every single team in the league, except for the Lakers, of course, who he played for. But anyway, his prior season high was on February 2nd against Minnesota. February 2nd's the 33rd day of the year. Kobe 33, all this 33. Yesterday's game had 33 numerology. Minnesota is also the home of where the Lakers are originally from. The Minnesota Lakers were the original team. They moved to Los Angeles. This year, the Lakers began their season against Minnesota. The game summed to 223 points. Masonic and Jewish gematria equals 223. Flip Saunders had just passed away days earlier. Flip Saunders born on February 23rd, kind of like 223. Here's that thing about Kobe. One of 2 players to score 40-plus against every team in the league. With regards to him becoming the second player, second has gematria of 24, like the number he's worn for the second half of his career, and 33, as well as 60. Another big number for him last night was 60 points. This score also stood out to me right here where it was just at 85 to 73. Los Angeles Lakers has gematria of 85. Basketball equals 85. Freemasonry equals 58. 73. Big number on the night. Again, Warriors got their 73rd win. The reflection of 37 for Los Angeles. Kobe, once he scored his 43rd point, three-pointer, he became the highest scoring player ever in a finale, beating Jordan Crawford's record of 41 points from just 2 years ago, 2014. The reflection, 14. When you write it out in gematria, it sums to 41. I'm not sure, but he might have done that for the Bulls too. Somebody should check that out. If that's for the Bulls, we see where that's going with the Jordan parallel. This stat right here also came up. Warriors with 113 points. I thought that was funny with everything going on. Right after Kobe became the top scorer. Kobe Bryant, 113. Shaq didn't look too happy. Remember the Lakers won that surprise win on Shaq's 44th birthday over the Warriors. Warriors in their 44th year of being in Golden State. When Kobe scored his 47th points, the camera went to his family. 47, the year of the first championship won by the Philadelphia Warriors. It was the Lakers' 86th points of the game. Symbol, triangle, pyramid, all equal 86. Kobe Bryant, very much a symbol. David Stern, when he was commissioner, said the league's not about basketball, it's about creating stars. Another way of saying creating symbols. The clock was excuse me. The clock was paused when it showed his family with 2 minutes and 16 seconds. I thought this was interesting. 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. A lot of tributes this year in 2016 to 216, dropped the 0 from the year. Back to the same number. Special number here, we talked about how the NBA Finals connects to 666. That's Kobe's family they had the camera on. Kobe also at the free throw line shooting with that time on the clock. Camera goes to Shaq Diesel once he knocks in the free throw. 88's an interesting number. Purple equals 88. California equals 88. Think about the Lakers in California. Poison and Program equal 88. Lots of Poison and Program Laker and Kobe fans I know from living in Portland every time the Lakers come into town. Asshole City. Kobe jerseys everywhere. Drunk Laker fans. The worst. So anyway, the Lakers, they rallied while Utah was stuck on 96 points. Remember, they finished with 96. They couldn't buy a bucket. Think about how rare it is to not score a point in the final 2 minutes of an NBA game for a team with the way fouling goes and everything. Just signs of the scripting. Plus the word Freemason equals 96. Kobe drafted in 96. So painfully obvious what's going on. Then we got this shot right here. Kobe, once he got to 50 points, which was my prediction before the game, he ended up surpassing 50 with 50 attempts. But once he got that, they brought up this stat that it was his 25th career game with 50 points. Again, Utah equals 50. 24, he had 24 50-point games entering. 24 equals 50. If you missed my Super Bowl work, I talked about how in Super Bowl 24, the Broncos lost to the 49ers 55-10. John Elway was the quarterback. This year, Super Bowl 50, the Broncos are 55 years old. John Elway is 55 years old. They end up winning the Super Bowl in San Francisco. This stuff goes on in all of pro sports, scripting by the numbers. Jay-Z was there. Proud Mason, Jay-Z equals 62. Q-Tip equals 62. P. Diddy equals 62. Mason equals 62. The 62nd day of the year is March 3rd, 3-3. Masons own it. Sports, entertainment, music, movies, government, media. These Masons run the show. Right here, big emphasis on 51 points. Conspiracy equals 51. Freemason equals 51. Look at the field goal attempts. 19 of 47. First NBA championship in 1947. Showing Warriors down on the screen with 122 points. Golden State equals 122. Kobe's highest scoring game in history was 81 points on January 22nd. The Lakers scored 122 points in that game. That means Kobe scored 81. The rest of the team scored 41. And earlier this year, the Warriors won with 122 points on January 22nd. That was Steve Kerr's first game back. The same day David Black got fired for the Cavs. Got videos on that. Kerr returned for the 44th game and the 44th season of the Warriors being in Golden State. We got this big pause and nice shot here from ESPN with 1:34. Remember, Kobe's farewell in Gematria, which was in the corner all game, equals 134. There it is right there. Kobe slowly creeping up. 92-96, Kobe with 53 points. Kobe hits a 3 to make it 95-96 at 59 seconds. Remember, Black Mamba's 59. Black Mamba Day. I mean, how can they do this, you guys, without magnets? How can they ensure these shots go on? How can they ensure these scripted outcomes? How can they keep shots out of the basket? I think they also punked Kobe in this game by the numbers. Kobe had a chance to hit a three-pointer to make the sum of the game 113 points, and he shot an air ball that was so far off the rim I couldn't believe it. It almost made me wonder if they flipped on the reverse magnet just to insult him on the 113. But for all of you who are saying this magnet technology is impossible, I say you're not using your minds. You live in a world with, very complicated technology. Think about all these. You think about what we're doing right now. I'm recording this video, I'm uploading it to the internet, all of a sudden millions of people can watch it. Sophisticated technology that most of us can't explain. To figure out how to rig magnetics at this day and age into the game of basketball, it seems entirely within the realm of possibility to me, especially in light of witnessing things like this and all else that I've documented. Again, Black Mamba, Michael Jordan equal 59. Number stamped all over Black Americans. Negro, Slave, Blues all equal 59. Motown Records came out in 59. Black Mamba, the small way equals 23, like Michael Jordan, number 23. Showed Shaq in the crowd. Showed his family. All this is going on with 59 seconds. Snoop Dogg, they call him the D-O double G. You know why they do it with a double G? Because it's 33, you see. Just like Kobe. You know, these are the Masonic-owned entertainers who've lived their lives by the numbers. Remember, big G in Scottish or in Francis Bacon gematria. Here's a little lesson for you. It's a big G in the middle of the Freemason compass. Lowercase a through lowercase z equal 1 through 26. Uppercase a through uppercase z equal 27 through 52. This is Francis Bacon gematria. I don't use this method very much. Freemason equals 122 in this method. We just talked about this number with a capital F. But anyway, big G is 33 in this method. Snoop D-O double G, you know? It's got the two 33s on the end. Plus D-O double G that way just sums to 33 in simple English gematria. Just like Kobe, 4 letters, 33. With regard to it being his 25th 50-point game, like 24, 25 written out also sums to 50. So fitting for him to get his 25th 50-plus point game in Utah. San Francisco in gematria equals 50. They just hosted Super Bowl 50. By the numbers. Check out my work on it. When Kobe Bryant gave the team the lead, it was his 58th points. 97-96, 31 seconds left. Los Angeles Lakers in gematria equals 58. Freemasonry equals 58. Super important number. Biggest number I talked about in the past Super Bowl. There it is. Kobe Bryant's 58th point to give them their first lead. 31 seconds on the clock. Basketball in gematria equals 31. This year, Villanova won the college championship 31 years after last winning it in 85. 85 was the year the tournament went to 64 teams. Basketball also equals 85. Recurring numbers. Numbers of significance to the sport. And also with regards to 73, the other big number on the night that the Golden State Warriors got, 73 has gematria 58. Warriors getting their 73rd win. Kobe Bryant taking the lead with 58 points. The Joe Jellybean prophecy, the Warriors connection, the Kobe connection. I don't know how you can deny it. I don't know how you can deny it. 73, the 21st prime. Lakers equals 21. Happened right at this time, the announcement that they got their 73rd win right as the Lakers go up. You know, amazing. Amazing. Arsenio Hall was there. Arsenio Hall, that gematria 33, one of these Masonic actor entertainers. Something interesting about Arsenio Hall, he was born in Cleveland, Ohio. This year, Flip Saunders died at the beginning of the season, born in Cleveland, Ohio. It's been 51 years since Cleveland won a championship. The number of conspiracy. Last time they won was the 64 Browns. The city of Cleveland, no pro sports championships since 64. LeBron James has gematria 51. Cleveland has gematria 51. Cleveland Cavs has gematria 51. If Cleveland's ever going to win anything, it's going to be this year. But if it goes to the Warriors, I won't be surprised in the least. The date Arsenio Hall was born, date with 26 numerology, connecting to Bryant, connecting to his 21 years in the league, connecting to Jordan. Arsenio Hall was huge in the 90s. So Kobe Bryant went to the line to shoot some free throws, knocked the first one down, 59 points. Notice there's 14 seconds on the clock, the reflection of 41. Then he made his next free throw to put him at 60 points on 22 of 50 shooting. Before the game, I thought he might have 50 points. Lo and behold, he has 50 attempts. Summing up his career, you know, Kobe Bryant, always been very selfish, very sociopathic individual. So are most of these pro sports stars who go before all these people who celebrate them and deceive them every day for money. Think about how awful that is. That's why so often these sports players have these cringes on their face. They know what they're doing's wrong. Anyhow, they called a timeout and took Kobe out at the end of the game with 4.1 left. Again, Kobe Bryant equals, oh, that's a typo. Kobe Bryant equals 41. You know, the 13th prime. Camera goes to Jack. Jack asked Gematria at 25. Just made me think about witnessing Kobe's 25th 50-plus point game. Jack Nicholson been there for most of them. Amazing stat line. 60 points on 50 attempts in his final game. And, you know, people will probably say, okay, they scripted this one for Kobe. But the thing is, all of these games are scripted, and it's usually just more subtle than this. But I'm trying to show you how scripted this league's always been. Kobe and Shaq hugging it out, longtime teammates. You know, all this time they show the 4.1 seconds on the clock, hugging everybody, 4.1. People don't know the gematria, though. They don't know what 41 has to do with Kobe Bryant. They don't realize it's been 41 years since his father's been drafted, how Golden State equals 41. Both these games on ESPN at the same time, history being written in the same seconds. At the end, Kobe gave a speech, talked about all the love from the bottom of his heart and how much he cares about the fans. We know that's not true. If he cared about the fans, he would have told them it's always been rigged and scripted, and people need to cut their emotions in these sports because they're killing themselves over rigged outcomes. But these aren't truthful individuals. At the end, the camera finally came off Kobe and just focused on Lamar Odom for a while. Lamar Odom, a guy we were talking about earlier this year with the scripted storyline of what happened to him in the brothel by the numbers. If you haven't seen my work on Lamar Odom, I'll link that down in the description too. So that's how Mamba Day ended with 60 points. Might have ended with a magnetic finish, helping Kobe get those clutch shots in at the closing moments. There was this headline out after the game. Kobe Bryant got a retirement ring. Retirement ring has gematria of 85 like basketball. Los Angeles Lakers also has that gematria of 85. It's a diamond ring. Diamond has gematria of 33, just like the word Rhodes, as in Cecil Rhodes. Cecil Rhodes is who once oversaw the diamond trade. Powerful industry. Freemasonry, diamonds, pro sports, it all comes together. Some headlines from weeks ago, Kobe and LeBron. Kobe's final game against LeBron, 1-1-3 on the timer. At the end of the first quarter, the score was 33-31. It made me laugh. Cleveland, the only city with 33 gematria. Kobe, 33. 64 combined points at the end of the first quarter. Let's also go over some of yesterday's scores. I know this video is getting long. If you're still here with me, we're near wrapping it up. A few more important points. This is an important post. I want to get it all in. Yesterday, the Celtics and Heat, they wrapped up their seasons against each other. At the end of the first quarter, it was looking like the Heat might finish the quarter with 33 points. Then they got a quick gimme bucket at the end for 35, which made me laugh because Celtics equals 35. Boston equals 22. Notice the Celtics were trailing the Heat 13-35, a sum of 22 points at the end of the first quarter. Boston equals 22, Celtics equals 35. In the end, the Celtics rallied big, closed with 35 points in the fourth quarter, and won the game. Scripted from start to finish. NBA fans think they're witnessing streaks and rallies and comebacks. They're not. They're witnessing theatrical performances. Also, I was wondering if the Cavs might finish the season with 57 wins. They did. The reason I was looking for 57 is this. It's a number connected to championship. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you'll win, but it means you'll be in it. World Series in gematria equals 57. When you write out 57, it sums to 131. When you write out championship, it sums to 131. When you write out Super Bowl, it sums to 131. Earlier this year, ESPN had a story about 57 children in Indiana named after Peyton Manning. The story was 1 minute 31 long. And this came out at a time where I was saying everything was scripted for the Broncos to win the Super Bowl. Also this year after the World Series, 57 days after it ended, Dave Henderson died at age 57, who played his final season in the MLB with the Royals, who won the World Series. A lot of crazy stuff goes on in the world of sports by the numbers, including sacrificing athletes by the numbers. I noticed that yesterday's game between the Cavs and Pistons was their 223rd game ever. Special number, Masonic equals 223. Flip Saunders died at the beginning of the year, got the 223 tribute in the Lakers Timberwolves first game. He was born February 23rd. He was born in Cleveland. Also, this game summed to 222 points. Amtrak equals 222. Amtrak's been connected to the train wrecks, which have been connected to sports championships. LeBron James starred in the movie Trainwreck in the offseason. I don't think the 222 points is any coincidence in light of what we covered last year, this year in the college championship, and what's to come in the NBA Finals. Flip Saunders, born 223 in Cleveland, Ohio, died 2 years before the start of the season. 76ers and Bulls played, 105-115. This is interesting because the Bulls' record was beaten this year for most wins by the Warriors, who are originally from Philadelphia. The Bulls went 72-10 that year. Last night they defeated the 76ers, who finished with the opposite record, 10-72. You think that's a coincidence? Freemason equals 42 the small way, 96 the big way. The Bulls' record, now beaten, was from 96, 20 years ago. Spurs won with 96 points, speaking of the number. Spurs joined the ABA in 67, then the NBA in 76, the year of the merger. The Spurs were 39 years old this year. Tim Duncan was 39 years old this year. The Spurs began their season at home 39-0. The Warriors ended that streak in the 40th game. Spurs had a very numerological season. Speaking of the Timberwolves and Flip Saunders and gematria equals 144. The Timberwolves, their last game, get 144 wins. Pelicans finish with 109 points. 109 is the 29th prime number. The T-Wolves got their 29th win. And with regards to a pelican, the singular, that's a bird with 33 gematria, just like bird has 33 gematria, just like yesterday's game came on a date with 33 numerology. The Minnesota Timberwolves have a lot of young stars. See what happens with their team in the future. The Warriors won with 125 points over the Grizzlies with 104. It was the 104th day of the year. What's interesting is when you write out 125 for their score, it also sums to 104. Record win on the 104th day of the year, 10-4 message received. If you write 125, which is also grammatically acceptable, it has gematria of 223, just like the Synagogue of Satan, just like Masonic. And for the record, the Synagogue of Satan is a name that comes from Revelation, like Philadelphia. The Synagogue of Satan are the false Jews who are said to rule over the world in the end times in the Bible, in the 66th book. And the false Jews are the Zionist Jews, the same ones who control the NBA and pro sports. Think about David Stern, Adam Silver, Zionist Jews. Curry yesterday also had 46 points in the record breaker, which is comical because Chicago equals 46, who he broke the record of. Curry was at the 46th Super Bowl of the modern era, cheering for the Panthers, who were defeated by the Broncos. Might be foreshadowing. Steph Curry was also cheering for Jordan Spieth, who lost the Masters, choking in the end. You might recall my video on how the Warriors golfed at Augusta 44 days before the start of the Masters on February 23rd, on the birthday, or what would have been the birthday for Flip Saunders. The Pacers yesterday defeated the Bucks. I noticed the Bucks finished the season with 33 wins. Larry Bird is in charge of the Pacers. Think about how Bird wore 33. Bird equals 33. With regards to the Bucks finishing with 33 wins, here's what's neat about that. The Milwaukee Bucks snapped the Warriors' win streak at 28 games this year. They were chasing the 33 streak set by the Lakers 44 years earlier. The Bucks also snapped that streak of 33 44 years earlier. They won the NBA Finals that year. Milwaukee Bucks in gematria equals 156. 33 written out equals 156. 28 written out equals 156. No other numbers sum to 156. More evidence of sports scripting. Remember, the Milwaukee Bucks fans printed out shirts that said "It's over" before they even won. And then, of course, last night, Lakers over the Jazz. We talked so much about it. All of it by the numbers. Kobe Bryant, 41, getting that final tribute at 4.1 seconds, showing you just how well they sync up the clock, something I was talking about in the recent college championship where it was tied at the end 74-74 with 4.7 left. The first ever college finals was Oregon versus Ohio. States was 74-47 gematria. Kobe's highest scoring game got a tribute earlier this year. This was the story about it. At the time he scored 81 points on January 22nd. With regards to 81, some connections to Chicago. Chicago in Jewish gematria equals 81, just like gold. Year of the Golden Jubilee. His teammates scored 41 points in that game. The game came on January 22nd, 122 points. Also, Kobe's retiring 13 years after Jordan. Jordan retired April 16th, 2003. They signed him out with a minute 44 left. Very interesting time to come out. His last time coming out for all time. Time in Jewish gematria equals 144, a Fibonacci number. The square root of 144 is 12. Think about 12 months in a year. 12 hours in the morning, 12 hours in the evening. Special number, a number I talked about a lot in regards to last year's NBA Finals, this year's college championship, last year's college championship, and this year's upcoming NBA championship. This is a number that always shows up big in pro sports. There's a reason Jordan checked out at a minute 44. There's a reason Kobe's retiring 13 years later. The parallels. Also, earlier this year, there was this headline, Kobe Bryant says he freaking sucks, which had emphasis on it. It was about his retirement. It was shortly after he announced he'd be retiring. Freaking sucks has gematria of 144. Another way of coding his time is up, except for on Magnet Night where he scores 60. So for those of you doubting the magnets, fine. Fair enough. You can doubt the magnets. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But what I'm not wrong about is that they've got these leagues scripted and somehow they've figured out how to hit these scores on the numbers, game after game. So many examples. Tar Heels equals 88. They entered the college championship averaging 88 points on the tournament plus so much more. Just always been by the numbers, truth seeker. All right, until next time.